Shalom Israel, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Rakam. My sisters Yahweh Shemal Al Dan Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai. It's the Thursday class. I'm Priest Officer Gawan. This is the I.S.U.P.K under commanding Gen.YAHANNA. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We're bringing out this truth since 1969. We teach that blacks, Hispanics, First Nation man and woman are the chosen of the Most High God. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some Pittsburgh news, get into a little bit about Kanye West, and of course bring out some scriptures, you know what I mean, about how the nation of Israel has been treated by this oppressive society, these heathen nations. All right. So first, I'm gonna bring up just recently, I believe, what was it? Just a few days ago, maybe about a day ago, we have an ongoing situation here in Pittsburgh with these Ukrainians. You know, as we know that the Ukrainians were have migrated in here over almost about a year ago now. Over 100,000, close to about 300,000 of them, you know what I mean, have come into the state, and they have been welcomed with open arms. I mean, you know, no resistance, been given nothing but love, and put on every program there is, been supported, when in fact we know that it's been the exact opposite for blacks, Latinos, and First Nation, you know, man and people, First Nation man and woman. We had this situation out in at the border with our Haitian brothers months ago, where they were met with resistance, treated unfairly. I mean, treated exactly how, you know, blacks, Latinos, and First Nation man and woman people are treated here in America. So this is nothing new to our people, but I just want to bring out the, you know, the oppressive nature of the, you know, of the devil, you know, the oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks about. You know, he welcomes his own, you know what I mean, with open arms. And, you know, and a lot of these Ukrainians, you know what I mean, they're, you know, to blame for a lot of crime that's going on here in the city. They don't like to bring that out. Like there was recently complaints about these scams with like gas, you know what I mean, and you know, as far as like gas, you know what I mean, that there's been a lot of scams, and they point to the Ukrainians with that. It was all in the news, but they don't like to bring this out, you know, full-fledged like they do, you know, for the children of Israel. So I'm gonna read a little bit about this this gathering they had downtown, right here downtown in Pittsburgh, just right up the block. It's an article right here, I believe on MSN. Okay, so it says, and this is the CBS News, Channel 2 here in Pittsburgh. It says, Pittsburghers gather at City Council building in a show of support for Ukraine. Demonstrators took the steps of the City County building in downtown Pittsburgh in a show of support for Ukraine, and this was yesterday. The Pittsburghers with Ukraine ties spoke out Wednesday for their friends and family still in harm's way. The demonstrators said innocent people are dying in Ukraine. Right, innocent people are dying in Ukraine. Now, just recently, maybe about, what was it, 2019, 2020, we had the terrible event of the young brother, 17-year-old brother Antoine Rose Jr., who was murdered by Michael Rossfield in East Pittsburgh. And we had marches all over the streets here in Pittsburgh. And, you know, they marched and marched and marched to no avail because, you know, the devil got off, you know what I mean? He got off, you know, just supposedly lost his job. And I'm pretty sure he's just been relocated, you know what I mean, to another state or another, you know, another police bureau. But we had that happen to our young brother. And then now they, you know, they got this support for this Ukraine, you know, situation, and it's like these things go away. The treatment that, you know, blacks have been, you know, been you know, for years and years and years here in America, and just prior to the Antoine Rose situation, we had the situation with George Floyd. So this is something that's been going on. And then not only do these Pittsburghers have support for, you know, and this is, you know, people of our own people, and also, you know, the Edomites. And, you know, not only did they support the situation, but you even got the president chiming in on it. So it says, I'm not only American, I'm a father and a grandfather, but sometimes we have to stand and say is enough is enough. This guy's name is George Honker. I guess he's a Ukrainian now. And you know what? I can't blame him for feeling exactly how he feels, because that's exactly the feeling that blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women have been going through for over 500 years. It says, I'm not only an American, which we are not Americans, we live here, but of course, you know, that's tagging yourself as you know, the oppressor's nature. I'm a father and a grandfather. Right. You know, a lot of us brothers here are fathers and grandfathers. You know, a lot of us have watched our children die. A lot of us have, a lot of our grandparents have, you know, have succumbed to this supremacy and died without knowing the truth about, you know, who they really were. But sometimes we have to stand and say enough is enough. So when do blacks and Latinos, you know, say enough is enough after George Floyd, Antoine Rose, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor? I mean, and countless, you know, thousands and thousands of names. I mean, so I can understand what this heathen is saying, you know what I mean, as far as his people, because, you know, we suffer the same plight, you know what I mean, but even on a more grand, you know what I mean, magnitude. It says on Monday, Russian missile strikes killed more than a dozen civilians in cities across Ukraine. President Joe Biden condemned what happened, calling it utter brutality against the Ukrainian people. You hear that? Utter brutality. This is what Joe Biden said. And this is what you so-called Negroes in the world voted for. This Edomite who sympathizes with the Ukrainians but has no sympathy when it comes to blacks, Latinos, and First Nation people. You see what is when the so-called Haitian brothers and sisters were at the border and being met with resistance, he had no answer to this. He didn't you know, care to indulge in it, didn't care to solve the problem. You know what I mean? All they did was, you know, looked at them as criminals, robbers, and, you know, thieves, and they wanted them out of the country. You understand? But when it comes to these Ukrainians that they, you know, let up in here, you know, this is utter brutality towards them. But blacks have been suffering this for 500 years and 400 years in America. Where's our, you know, where's our just due? You understand? Where's our just due? Where's the president speaking out about us? And again, this is the same devil that, you know, black people voted for, thinking that, you know, this man was going to make a change, you know, with our people. I know brothers, you know, personally that, you know, believed in this man like he was going to be the savior of black people. And I just couldn't do nothing but laugh at the brother. I just couldn't believe he had faith in this man. You know what I mean? Even, and then after he's been a year, been in office, you know, a few years or whatever, he still hasn't done anything. None of the things that they promised to do for you, they don't do. Kamala Harris, you know what I mean? You know, that's a whole nother story. But these people don't do nothing to help black people. You know what I mean? Your only security is within the Most High God. It says, let Vladimir Putin run out of the missiles till he has to stop, Honker said. Start throwing soccer balls to Ukraine. Let's wear them out. But we need America's help. The sky must be closed above Ukraine to protect Ukraine. So this man, you know, I guess he's Ukrainian living in America. He's asking for America to help, you know, his people, which is what they are doing and what they're going to do. You understand? And understand, blacks and Latinos, you know, this is white on white crime. This has nothing to do with us. But the reason why I'm bringing this out is because we don't get the same treatment. We don't get the same, you know, care and the same, you know what I mean, you know, help that these people are getting. Although we have totally been destroyed and dominated and enslaved and disgraced and mentally, you know, tired. You know what I mean? There's everything under the sun has happened to blacks and Latinos here and Hispanic people here, but we don't get any help. There's no one to come to our need or to help us. And over again, it's always a double standard when it comes to, you know, things that go on with people. You know, the same thing happened, like I said, with our Haitian brothers and sisters, and they were treated like animals. You know what I mean? And they had no regard for the children, the women, you know, the weak. You know what I mean? Just like in the scriptures, the Amalekite Jews, what they did to the hind parts of our caravan when we were coming out of, you know, coming out of Egypt, I believe it was. So they have never had any, you know, care for how they treated the children of Israel. And it's still evident today, although we still continue to give this place our love, our allegiance, you know what I mean? And we still have hope in this place, even though it's never going to change. It's never going to change. It says, NATO's already gone on record saying no-fly zone over Ukraine would lead to a full-fledged war in Europe. Honker fears without action, many Pittsburghers like himself will never see their loved ones again. Imagine that. Never see their loved ones again. Sounds like what happened to us at the transatlantic slave trade. You know what I mean? This is the same thing with black men being locked up in unbelievable numbers in all over in America in every state. Never get to see their families again. So, you know, this devil is acting like he's going through something terrible or something that, you know, that's compared to what, you know, we have been through. And it's not even close. You understand? But to his credit, you know what I mean, about his people, I can understand why he would feel that way. And that's how we should feel, you know, towards our own people and the things that happen to our people. It says, it's terribly deep because of all of us have relatives there. All of us are praying every day that our relatives will sleep through the night, but instead of being killed in their beds. So he says, all of us have relatives there. So these Edomites here, these Ukrainians, have, of course, relatives in Ukraine, and they're worried about them. You know what I mean? So I can understand that. But black people, we need to worry about each other. We need to be concerned about our, the word, but our own care. Shalom, sis, shalom. But yeah, we need to be worried about each other and no one else. That's what we need to be focused on. You know what I mean? But again, I wanted to use this as an example. You know what I mean, about the treatment of blacks, Latinos, and First Nation people against the people of the other nations. And of course, this is something that never changes. All right, so okay, I brought out okay, so some of the things that is going on with these Ukrainians, they're in all types of programs. They get all types of help. I mean, you just wouldn't believe it. They got a program that's called Grant of Temporary Protected Status. It's for 18 months for 59,000 Ukrainians. All right. Now you can go down to downtown Pittsburgh, right downtown Pittsburgh here, and you can see niggas laying up on the concrete, up under the bridges, next to buildings, laying in filth. You know what I mean? And there's no help for them brothers. You know what I'm saying? Them brothers and sisters. But these Ukrainians get welcomed right up in here. Another thing called relief from deportation and work authorization. Ain't that something? So these heathens can come right up in here in Pittsburgh, get housing, get citizenship, or or the chance to work, and when there's sisters and brothers that come in from places like Jamaica, and they can't get they're immigrants, and they can't get that that social security number. They can't get work. I mean, this is just horrendous, the way they the way they just choose to just treat the children of Israel, but allow these things for other nations. You know what I'm saying? And again, we see these things as blacks, Hispanics, and we just continue to act like it doesn't exist. We still go to the polls and vote for these people, and think that these people are going to help us. We're going to get into these scriptures a little bit soon too. Back in April, it was a 100,000 Uniting for Ukraine program, and it's a private sponsor. Go figure, a private sponsor, but 100,000 Uniting for Ukraine program. All right, so these damn heathens are getting all types of help, help that they don't even really need, but they're getting it just because they're basically white. All right, 20,000 Ukrainians admitted at the Mexican border, and that was back in April. I mean, think about that. Look at our situation with our children being detained at the in detention centers at the border. The Mexican children in detention at the border. But these stinking Ukrainians can come up in here through the border with no problem. 20,000. All right, and it said that, I don't know if this number is exactly correct, but I think even in the States it's over 1 million of these Ukrainians here, and I think recently about 355,000 came into the from the Ukrainian situation, the current situation. All right, so let me get that. Now we was just talking about that border situation. Let me bring that up here, because we need to see these things. We need to pull these things out. Like it says, prove all things. All right, so remember, these Ukrainians are coming in. You have to drop up a dime, no problem, no issues, no hassle, no struggle. Look, listen to this. This is an article. Council of Foreign Relations. It says, U.S. detention of child migrants. Tens of thousands of unaccompanied children have been arriving at the U.S.-Mexican border each year, sparking debate over how to respond. A recent rise in their numbers has challenged the Biden administration. Again, once Joe Biden, the same devil that you voted for, that we voted for, not here in I.S.U.P.K and Command General Hall, but you brothers and sisters in the world voted for this devil. All right. Okay. It says, a spike in apprehensions of migrant children crossing the U.S. southern border without a parent or guardian has overwhelmed the systems set up to care for them and reinvigorated debate over the detention of minors. President Donald Trump framed the influx of asylum seekers, both adults and minors, as a national security threat, and his administration implemented a suite of policies to deter migrants. See, that's what Donald Trump did when he was in office. And again, we're going to jump to that Kanye West next, but this devil, You know what I mean? He's looking at these children as a problem. You know what I mean? These are little children at the border. Of course, they're of our own people, the nation of Israel. And of course, this white man can't damn stand niggas. You know what I mean? He can't stand niggas. And neither can any other white person. You understand that? So they look at these children as a problem, you know what I mean, at the border. But when Ukrainian, grown Ukrainian men and women coming over here with records and causing scams and stuff like that, they have no problem with letting them in here. And I think before that, it was an influx of Palestinians came over here. I believe it was, yeah. Not too long before that. But like I said, they don't have no problem letting more Edomites over here. You know what I mean, or other factions of white people, or so-called white people. But when it comes to the children of Israel, they can't have that. They can't have niggas over here as a national security threat. And his administration implemented a suite of policies to deter migrants. Critics argued that his response exacerbated Central America's humanitarian crisis, broke U.S. law, and violated international human rights norms. President Joe Biden promised to overhaul Trump's immigration policy. Many of his legislative efforts have failed to pass Congress. However, in his administration is scrambling to expand housing capacity for child migrants and hasten their release from federal care. So it's making it seem like Joe Biden is against what's going on with these children, but he's really not, because every time they make it seem as though they're trying to make some progress towards helping the situation, there's something in the politics that stops it from happening. So the truth about it is they don't want it to happen. They don't want niggas here. They don't want Mexican children. They don't want any of our tribes here. They don't want, unless we're doing slavery for them or serving them some way, they don't have no care for the nation of Israel. So it says, what is the situation at the border? Border encounters, including accompanied minors, plunged in early 2020 amid the COVID-19 pandemic, but have since risen steadily. Immigration authorities encountered nearly 150,000 unaccompanied minors at or near the U.S.-Mexican border in the fiscal year 2021, an all-time high despite a dip in October. About 76% of unaccompanied children in federal care are 15 years of age or older, though authorities have detained infants and toddlers. You hear that? They have no love. They don't care. Like the scriptures say, they have no regard of the old or the young. They have no regard. Just like back in the day in slavery, they would have, the young of our children at 8 years old out in the field, with their parents, picking cotton. They have no regard. They will hope, sisters, they would take the sisters, hang them upside down, slice their belly open, let the infant, the fetus, the child fall out. I mean, they have no regard. You know what I mean? They have no regard for our people. So I just wanted to bring that article out to let you know. Let's jump into some scripture here. So let's go to, and then we'll get more back into that. Okay, let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 41. Deuteronomy 28 and 41. Salakia, 1 minute, it's a little slow here. Okay, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. And that's exactly what's happening at the borders, at the detention centers with the Mexican children, so-called, Mexican children, Issachar. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Because that's a form of captivity. Even though we know about, the tribe of Judah being brought over here and, put in, up on the put up in the plantations on the auction block, sold into slavery to the devil that the Bible speaks about. But this is talking about the nation of Israel on a whole. You understand? Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. And they are in captivity at the border. We are in captivity over here in America, and we have been in captivity for over 400 years, and it hasn't changed. And it hasn't changed because of our disobedience to the Most High God. We got to get back to serving Him. Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 32. It says, Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Okay, that's exactly what happened to our sons and our daughters. After we brought over here in the transatlantic slave trade, we were put up on the auction block, sold to the highest bidder, the oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks about. Families were broken up. Mothers would be, longing for their children, crying. Fathers, the same thing. Families separated. The man will go one way, the woman will go another, children go another way. And most times they will never see each other again. This is a curse. It's in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand. There'll be nothing that we can do about it. Nothing that we can do about it. These devils came in, destroyed our homeland, took us into slavery, made us slaves over here in America, and there's nothing that we can do about it. It's a very hurtful feeling. And the only way out of it is by keeping the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High God. And that's what we teach here in the I.S.U.P.K. Obedience to the law, statutes, and commands. That's what it's about. That's the only way we're going to get out of this hell, is by keeping the law, statutes, and commands. Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Right? I mean, we just talked about the children at the border. We brought up the fact that the so-called black man was, brought into slavery, from the west coast of Africa, and brought over the waterways, the transatlantic slave trade, brought in here into America, and not to mention what the conquistadors did to the native Indians, and destroyed them. You know what I mean? Just killed them off with the work labor and smallpox and all these different European diseases. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst. You don't think those children at the border, in those cages and those detention centers, are in hunger and in thirst? And in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And of course, that yoke was a physical frame, metal, wooden frame that goes around the necks of the slaves, you know what I mean, to let you know you were enslaved. Okay, that's talking about the children of Israel. All right, let's get some more scriptures. Look at Deuteronomy, 28 and 43. Okay, so now, remember we brought out the situation about the Ukrainians, how came over here into America. They have been welcomed with open arms. They're getting employment. They're getting all types of programs that really, blacks should be getting before anyone, because a lot of us have been born in this hellhole, in this so-called America, and our ancestors have suffered, and we have been destroyed for years and years and years. And you would think there would be some programs to help us, but of course, every time something that goes on with us, when black people die, heathens benefit. Black people die, heathens benefit. George Floyd dies, Antoine Rose Jr. dies, and then Ukrainians come into America and they get, what is it called again? The relief from deportation and work authorization. Grant of temporary protected status. Okay? Uniting for Ukraine program. This is what they get. Black people die, and that's what they get. You understand? Black man, Hispanic man, First Nation man and woman, this is not our rest. We need to get back to serving the Most High God. You know what I mean? These people are not going to help us. Joe Biden is not coming to your rescue. You understand? No amount of money is going to help you. No wealth. And that's why we're going to get into that Kanye West next. That loss, brother. You know what I mean? But again, none of these things are going to save you from these curses. Okay? The only thing that's going to save you is obedience to God. All right. Let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 44. Okay, so we went to 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. That's Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. That's exactly what's happening in every black neighborhood. Chinese own your stores, the Arabs own stores. You know what I mean? These Ukrainians come into America and they come right in first day one. They're already put in a higher status in society than you, and you've been here for over 400 years. That's why the scriptures say, he shall lend to the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. We're in a low status, and they are above us. All these heathen nations. 44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. I mean, if that ain't breaking it down, I don't know how much flat it could be. I mean, look what happened. Look what's going on. Those Palestinians that came in here, these Ukrainians that came in here. Look what happened to our brothers and sisters at the border. You know what I mean? They were met with resistance, but these Ukrainians are coming in here in influx of the 100,000s and welcomed with open arms and flourishing, while you stay destroyed in the damn ghetto, the barrios, you know what I mean, in jail, murdered, being massacred in these streets, and nothing is done about it. I mean, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed. Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. All right? And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. You hear that, black man? Forever. As long as we continue to disobey God, these curses will be upon us forever. So when I look at the influx of these Ukrainians, the treatment of our brothers at the border, the influx of the so-called Afghanis or Palestinians, whatever they came in here, and I look at our destroyed state in every ghetto, barrio, in Homewood, Garfield, the Hill District, you know what I mean, over the south side, the north side, and I look at our destroyed state, I know that these curses are talking about us. Who else could it be talking about? All right, let's get Isaiah 51 and 20. Isaiah 51 and 20. Okay, it says, thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets, as a wild bull in a net. They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God. Thy sons, who's it talking about? Black children, young black men. They have fainted, meaning they have got weary, they got tired. They lie at the head of all the streets. That's the block, black man. That's the block, the trap that you like to talk about. They lie at the head of all the streets, as a wild bull in a net. Imagine what you see those shows, those what is they rodeos, whatever they are, where they got the bull running after that. That's young black children. That's our black men. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wild bull in a net. They get caught up in the net, and they're just imagining that a wild bull trying to get out. That's what's going on in the corners of the streets on the block. They are full of the fury of the Lord and the rebuke of thy God. See, this is happening because of our disobedience. And the Lord has poured fury out on his children for disobedience. Okay? We've been afflicted. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it says, therefore hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. See, we're afflicted and drunken. We're drunk because why? Because we have no knowledge of our God. We don't know how to serve our God. We think that eating pork is lawful. It's not lawful. Okay? Being a goddamn drug dealer is okay. It's not okay. You know what I mean? Being a whoremonger, a brother that's a pimp, for our daughters of Israel being whores. These are things that are not lawful. They are not okay. Joining the damn Christian church and worshiping Cesar Borgia, that is not lawful. Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, New Year's, birthdays, those things are not lawful. And the Most High God hates when the children of Israel do these things. All right, so let's get Revelation 11 and 8. Revelation, the book of Revelation 11 and 8. It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So they're talking about America, and their dead bodies are the children of Israel, shall lie in the street of the great city. George Floyd, Antoine Rose Jr., which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt. We know that America is the new Egypt, the new Sodom. Egypt, we know, is synonymous with bondage. So America is a new place of slavery or bondage for the Israelites, where also our Lord was crucified. Okay? And how is the Lord crucified here? Christ. Christ is crucified here. Wow. You get the image of Cesar Borgia, white Jesus. That's you know what I mean, that's an abomination. You know what I mean? That picture of a white Jesus, blonde hair, blue eyes, and people saying that's Christ. You know what I mean? That's how he's crucified. They're stepping on Christ with that. You understand? That's what it's talking about. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So this place is a goddamn hellhole. It's spiritually Sodom in Egypt. Okay, all right. It's bondage. Okay, it's hell for the children of Israel, and it's where our Lord was crucified, where they continue to crucify him every day through the Christian church, in that image of Cesar Borgia. All right. Okay, so let's jump into this crazy brother here. Salaki, I don't want to talk about the brother, but I mean, facts are facts. Okay, so we know that Kanye West, right? Kanye West has been seen recently with a White Lives Matter shirt, given all the hell and all the trials and tribulations that black people have gone through. This brother had the nerve to put on a White Lives Matter shirt. All right. Of course, we know that Kanye West is like the little son of Donald Trump, the way he conducts himself. I mean, he even has a video where he says, "I love this guy," and damn near wanted to go sit on his lap. You know what I mean? Hugged him, and he had the MAGA hat on and everything. I mean, we know that was years ago. Of course, we know that that hat symbolizes everything that the hate that all white America has for the children of Israel, and he has the nerve to put that on his black head. It's just unbelievable. But this man, he wears White Lives Matter shirt. He supports Donald Trump. We're going to talk a little bit about Donald Trump, his father, and everything too. He has a heathen wife. Well, he had a heathen wife. She left him. You know what I mean? Because that's what they're going to do. He wants to run for presidency. I mean, if that don't tell you that this man loves America, I don't know what will. He thinks he's going to get in office, as a nigga and run a white man's establishment. Okay, yeah, good luck with that. You know what I mean? But of course, he's wealthy. Kanye West is worth like $2 billion. And how do you get wealthy in America? By lying to blacks and Hispanics, First Nation people, by kissing the tail of the white man, being a goddamn sinner. That's how you get wealthy here in America. All right. Okay, so now we know that. Okay, let's bring up a little bit about Donald Trump so we can tie this in with Kanye West. So we know that Donald Trump is, of course, famous for real estate. His father passed down real estate to him. His father's name was Fred Trump. He had hotels and such and so forth. And Kanye West's Kun made a statement about how he liked Trump because he loves his hotels and he has saxophones in the lobby. I mean, this is just the type of things. You never hear black people say goofy stuff like, "Oh, Bill Clinton's black because he plays the saxophone," or this guy's black because he dances this way. When they're Edomites or heathen nations and they still like to call them black because they can do certain things. It's just the stupidity of our people. But this just tells you how foolish this dude is, Kanye West. All right. Okay. So, or about the fact that he had the MAGA hat on. You know what I mean? He had the video where he says he loves the guy. You know what I'm saying? Heathen wife. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And now we're just, like I said. Okay. This Fred Trump. Okay. So remember, Kanye West supports this Donald Trump. He loves this guy. Now let's talk a little bit about this. Donald Trump's father, Fred Trump, first. So you can see, the filth that this brother Kanye West has associated himself with. Okay. Oh, let me see something here. Okay. So if I'm going to read a little bit about Donald Trump's father, all right? Okay, it says, let me see. Okay. Frederick Christ Trump Sr. Was an American real estate developer and businessman, a member of the Trump family. He was the father of Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States. Okay. He's from New York. Okay. So I'm going to read a little bit about here. It says, in partnership with his mother, Elizabeth Christ Trump, Fred began a career in home construction and sales. Now, before we even start this, we know that just if you've been watching class and paying attention to I.S.U.P.K and Command and Johan, you know that all these damn devils have got what they have gotten off the backs of black people, blacks and Hispanics people, are the oppression of our own people. So these businesses and stuff, these things that they start, it all stems from slavery and the treatment of our people. Okay, so they're really not no damn businessmen. They are not any smarter than anyone else. They have just gotten a head start here in America. All right, so in partnership with his mother, Elizabeth Christ Trump, Fred began a career in home construction and sales. The real estate development company was incorporated as E. Trump & Sons in 1927. It grew to build and manage single-family houses in Queens, barracks, and garden apartments for U.S. Navy personnel near major shipyards along the East Coast. So he had, a lot of single-family houses in Queens, okay, and barracks. So I'm pretty sure it had a lot to do with, areas that, our people frequent. In more than 27,000 apartments in New York City, Trump was investigated by a U.S. Senate committee for profiteering in 1954. That's like price fixing, okay? So we know this is a damn wicked devil. This is what white people do. They're the author of all confusion of the Israelites and the rest of the world, okay? So we know that this is a damn devil doing what devils do. and again by the state of New York in 1966. Donald became the president of his father's real estate business in 1971. So you see that? The great Donald Trump that everybody likes to, talk about how much money he has and how great his show is and how great the president, this and that. He ain't do nothing but inherit some shit that came from his father, Salakia. He ain't do no work. It was passed right down to him, and he's a spoiled damn brat. You know what I mean? He had everything handed to him, and he uses everything he got. They got it from the oppression of our people. All right? So Donald became the president of his father's real estate business in 1971, and they were sued by the U.S. Justice Department Civil Rights Division for violating the Fair Housing Act in 1973. In the case settlement, the Trumps were ordered to take several measures to curb racial discrimination. All right? Now, what is that telling you? That these damn devils were using their power, their influence, and what they had to discriminate against our own people. Now, this is the same damn person that this Kanye West want to go sit on his lap in the White House in front of for the world to see and wear his MAGA hat. You know what I mean? But this is what you gotta understand. As a black man and black woman in America, these so-called, like Gawan brought up the other day in the Delaware class, we look for entertainers, singers, rappers, you know what I mean, people like that to be leaders for us. When all they are is just a damn singer or a writer. They are not leaders, okay? And you following these people will have you doing the wrong things. Kanye West is not a damn leader. He is not a leader. He's damn near a lunatic is what he is. He's talented as far as his music. I mean, the man puts out some good music. He's talented. He knows his instruments. He knows how to make beats. He's probably one of the best to ever do it, but he's not a damn leader, okay? He's not a leader, all right? And that's what you got to understand, black man and black woman. He's not a leader. Commanding General Yohanna is a leader, okay? That is a leader. So again, this Fred Trump was, him and his son were sued and, you know what I mean, and accused of, you know what I mean, and I think found guilty of, racial discrimination. So how could you as a black man or black woman vote for this guy? And Kanye West had an interview where he went all out talking about this guy, like how much he loves this guy. I mean, he even said he was hurt because society was mad at him because he couldn't express his love that he loved Donald Trump. I mean, he really said this in the interview. This is how much this man loves this country and this American dream. He loves it. And you got to watch out for these people. And I mean, I'm talking about the nation of Israel, our blacks, Hispanics, First Nation people. You got to watch out for people like this because these people are wolves. These are ravening wolves in sheep's clothing, like the scriptures say. They don't have, or just do or care in their thoughts. They're only worried about themselves and how much money they can attain. That's why Kanye West wants to run for presidency, and he believes in all people are created equal. He believes in that dream of Dr. Martin Luther King. He wants integration. This is what he wants. I mean, you can tell by his lifestyle. You know what I mean? The wife he chose and stuff like that. So, I mean, don't get sidetracked or confused by these coons. You know what I mean? When you see somebody of our nation going to, to support anything that these Edomites bring to the table, you know what I mean? You should know, that should tell you right then and there that it's something that you should have no interest in. Now, of course, if you're a brother, you were in the world at one time and you're in the truth, you know what I mean? You came out of that world, that's something different. But if you're still in the world, you're not in the I.S.U.P.K and the Commanding General Yohanna. And I'm not talking about no other fake Israelite group, no Christian church, no Muslim mosque. If you're not in the I.S.U.P.K, you're not in the truth, and I would not trust it, I would not follow it. All right? Of course, Donald Trump took over, his father's, millions. And, he's the new icon, as far as money is concerned. I mean, if you even look at the history of how he treats his own family and how they have, these wars and arguments between each other, you can tell that it's just, the white man's a damn devil that the Bible speaks about. They don't even care about their own people. So the father and son were sued. And it says that Fred Trump actually has German ancestry. Okay, so and he hid that too. He hid that ancestry. All right, so he's and he did, the reason why he hid it because he didn't want to be associated with the likes of people like Adolf Hitler. But you can see here in America that his conduct, Donald Trump's conduct, is something similar to Adolf Hitler. Just how he ran his whole presidential campaign and how he, stirred up America with that same spirit, lets you know that his German roots came right to fruition. You know what I mean? It's like the scriptures say, you will know them by their fruits. I mean, there you have it. I mean, that's heavy right there. his father actually was arrested at a KKK meeting. And they try to say that they don't know if he had any dealings with the KKK meeting, but why the hell was he there? It just, I mean, I'm saying all this to tell you that our brother Kanye West associates himself with people like this. People that openly, honestly, and repeatedly hate blacks and Hispanic people. They hate art. You know what? They hate us. And Kanye West wants to associate himself with them. And this should let you know we need to back off from this brother, man, because he's not no leader, and he does nothing but, you know, detriment to us. And then finally, I was just reading the other day on the internet, his banking, J.P. Morgan, Chase Bank, cut ties with him because he supposedly made some anti-Semitic comments, and he's been saying a lot of things in the news, and they decided to cut ties with him. So who knows what's going to happen to this brother next? But I mean, this is America. You see, as long as you're kissing, you know, the white man's behind, you know what I mean, it's all good. You can make as much money as you wish. But as soon as you begin to speak out against anything that they're doing, he's going to cut off your lifeline, your food supply. That show that you got is gone. You know what I mean? He's kicking you out of his bank. You know what I mean? That new shoe line you got, that ain't coming out no more. The Yeezys ain't coming out no more. You know what I'm saying? Remember what they did to Nick Cannon when Nick Cannon made those comments. They made him get on camera and basically beg that the Jewish man with his white teeth showing. You know what I mean? You know, this is what they do to us. You know what I mean? They make us look foolish. They make us look weak. And just associating with these people, trying to be like them and integrate with them makes us weak. And that's why these brothers are weak. You know what I mean? Kanye West is a weak brother. Just period. He's just a weak brother. All right, so I'm going to pull out some scriptures, all right? Let's pull out some scriptures. Let's go to Proverbs 3:31. Okay, the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. You hear that? Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Kanye West loves his oppressor. He envies the oppressor. That's why he wants to sit on Donald Trump's lap. That's why he wants to wear the MAGA hat. That's why he believes in everybody, you know, should come and integrate together, and everybody should be one big happy family in America. All right? Because he believes in Dr. Martin Luther King. All right? Choose none of his ways. Kanye West wants to be president of the United States. Why? Because he wants to be like his oppressor. He thinks that he's going to change America, or, you know, make it better for all people. I mean, who knows what he thinks? I mean, the man is damn crazy. I mean, that's obvious. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. This is what the scripture says. This is what God says. When Kanye West is telling you that it's okay for you to, you know, sit on Donald Trump's lap and support his agenda, the Most High is saying, envy thou not your oppressor, and choose none of his ways. So we got to understand, you know, are we serving man, or are we serving the Most High God? And that's been the biggest issue with the children of Israel. We have taken on the customs and the likings of the nations around us, and not do what God says to do. And that has destroyed us ultimately. Matthew 6:24. Let's get Matthew 6:24. Okay, it says, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. You hear that? No one can serve two masters. See, Kanye West, he drops albums, you know what I mean? Talk about Christ, and he talks about, you know, how much he's, you know, into God, but he's still kissing a white man's behind over here. So he's trying to serve two people, and it can't be done. That's why you see, you know what I mean, they're cutting off certain things with him now. They kicked him out of the bank. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure ain't no telling what's coming next. You know what I mean? Ain't no telling what's coming next to the brother. But you see what I'm saying? He's trying to serve two masters. And you're going to either love the one and hate the other, or vice versa. That's how it goes. And we clearly see that that Kanye West loves the white man. He loves the white man. He loves the oppressor, and he does not love the Most High, because he wouldn't be talking about integration, okay? He wouldn't be talking about, you know, all the crazy things that he talks about. He wouldn't support a goddamn racist, you know what I mean, a racist agenda when his people is being murdered in the streets like we are, and being murdered day in and day out for over, you know, 500 years. That's just here in America. And not to bring up what they have done to us over the course of history, what the Edomites and the other heathen nations have done to us. They have been ultimately our destruction, and caused our fall, you know, before the Most High. Let's get Mark 12 and 31. Mark 12 and 31. Okay. Mark 12 and 31. And the second is like, namely this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. And I brought this out because what this is talking about is brotherhood. This is a brotherhood scripture. Instead of giving our love to the damn heathen and want to sit on Donald Trump's lap and wear the MAGA hat, you should be giving that love to your own people, okay? Giving that love to our own people. Kanye West to take his billions of dollars and invest in his own people and not try to be president of the United States. You got $2 billion, you know what I'm saying? Can you imagine what he could do? You know what I mean? Can you imagine what Commanding General Yohanna would do with $2 billion? I mean, you know, these are so-called entertainers that people think are leaders they're just despicable. They all they care about is, you know, money, power, and fame. That's all they care about. They don't care about the actual, you know, plight of their people. You know what I mean? And that's why they have gotten rich, because the white man knows that. The white man knows this is a weak nigga, and we're going to put him in position, you know what I mean, over, you know, the real niggas. You know what I mean? That's what they do. That's what they do. That's what the white man is known to do. Put these weak punk niggas over the real niggas. You know what I mean? And that's what your so-called celebrities are today. Let's get Deuteronomy 17 and 15. And just to bring out, the only reason why he's able to do that is because he rules on this planet right now. The white man rules, you know what I mean? So he can choose who he wants to be in charge of things, you know what I mean? And as us in our destroyed state, we can't fight it back because we're not listening to God. We don't have the protection of the Most High God. So that's why that can happen. Deuteronomy 17 and 15. It says, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. So Kanye West, wanting Donald Trump to be his president, wanting to, you know, support his agenda, wear his MAGA hat, it just shows you that this brother is lost. He is not obeying the law, statutes, and commands of the Most High God. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren. Donald Trump is not our damn brother. He is not Kanye West's brother. Even though he loves him, he wants to, you know, he wants to kiss, you know, the devil's ass, Salakia. Even though he wants to kiss his behind, he is not our brother, okay? We need to choose one of our own people. And today, here in the world today, Commanding General Yohanna is our leader. And he follows Christ, okay, and the Most High. That is the structure of things. That is the rank of things here in the world today. If you don't believe that, tell me who's a better leader. There is none. All right. So let's get Proverbs 8. Proverbs chapter 8. I believe it's verse 10. Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 10. We're going to do 10 to 15. Okay, it says, receive my instruction, and not silver and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, in the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom I am understanding, I have strength. By me kings reign, and princes decree justice. You hear that? By the Lord kings reign, okay? And it says, for wisdom is better than rubies. You see, it's as much money as Kanye West has, $2 billion. He is not wise. He is not wise at all. No black man is wise enough to watch George Floyd get murdered for the world to see. You're in Pittsburgh, you see what happened to Antoine Rose Jr., Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, Philando Castile. You watch all these things happen to our people, and no black man in his right mind would ever go sit on the lap of a white man and ask them to be president after you see that. Just the blackness in you alone will not allow you to do that. So, like, you understand? I mean, even if you don't know the truth, the blackness in you should not allow you to do something so foolish. And that brother, man, Lord be with that brother. And I hope he gets it together. But the way it's looking, I don't know. He might end up on Donald Trump's lap again. All right, let's get Matthew 7 and 15. A few more scriptures here. Matthew 7 and 15. It says, beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. You hear that? beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing. Kanye West is a damn false prophet to some degree. He drops albums talking about Christ this, Christ that, Jesus this. But inwardly, they are ravening wolves. Inwardly, he's a ravening wolf. Why? Because he wants to kiss the behind of the oppressor. He wants to be like the oppressor. He wants to, be president of the United States. He wants to rule over his own people. He wants to keep coming out with shoes, overcharging, his own people for $200 and $300, $400, $500 in shoes that are terrible. And you know what I mean? That's what he's worried about. He's a ravening wolf. Wolf. He wants power. He does not care about his people. He wants power. And he wants to sit at the table with the white man. And that's how he feels, he feels like a man finally when he gets to sit across from another white man and look at him and say, hey, I have money like you. I'm in a society like you, and I'm treated equal to you. That will be, his big, accomplishment in life. But of course, if you are a nigga with any sense, that's never going to happen, and you should never want it to happen. Okay? The only thing you should be worried about is men in our relationship with the Most High God. Okay? Men, getting back together to serving our God. That's what's important. Let's pull one more. Let's get Matthew 16 and 26. Matthew 16 and 26. It says, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? You hear that? Kanye West, billions of dollars. I mean, I don't know a brother or sister who don't want $2 billion. I mean, you can imagine what you can do with that up. You imagine in I.S.U.P.K. what we can do with that. You know how many schools would go up? You know what Commanding GEN.YAHANNA would do with $2 billion? But, you know what I mean? Kanye West gained all that and lost his soul. He compromised his integrity for the white man's money. That's Kanye West. You understand? That is who he is. And this is not a leader. If you're a black man or black woman, Hispanic man, Hispanic woman, First Nation man or woman watching this, to sell your soul, to compromise your soul for money is not worth it. It doesn't matter how much money you can get. Because at the end of the day, you are a slave. And the white man is always going to know that about you. And he knows how to pick them. He knows how to pick them. All right, let me see what else we got here. Okay, so to close it out, we're going to talk about a little bit about this. Remember about the 12, like it was about 12,000 Haitian migrants that went into the Del Rio International Bridge. They were under that bridge. It was like, it's like 150 miles away from San Antonio. Now remember, the Biden administration, they were uncertain, and you know what I mean. They didn't know how to handle the situation, and what they really didn't. They just didn't want to do anything about the situation. That's what it really means. The U.S. border agents use unnecessary force towards man, woman, and child. You know what I mean, in that situation. Whereas they welcomed the Ukrainians and was it the Palestinians to America or whatever it was, the Afghanis, but these Haitians, because they're Israelites, because they're the children of Israel, because the world hates the children of Israel, they met them with resistance, unnecessary force. And that was all documented. You can look it up on your own time. There's articles on it and everything. So I'm gonna pull a couple scriptures and then we'll bring it up out of here. So let's go to, of course, one of my favorites is Zephaniah 2 and 1. So lock it 1 minute. Because Zephaniah 2 and 1. It says, gather yourselves together. You gather together, O nation not desired. Okay. When I think about what our brothers and sisters went through under that international bridge, we continue to still go through today, the oppression, from the oppressor, and all the things that our ancestors had to go through that they didn't even get a chance to find out, the truth about, like what the I.S.U.P.Ks have been bringing out since 1969. We need to understand that the one thing we need to do is to gather ourselves together. You understand? We need to all look at each other and realize we all go through the same plight here in America and all over the world. So we're all we got, okay? Gather together, have love for each other, and put our focus and our thought on the Most High God, serving Him. That is the answer to all of our problems, all right? Let's go to Psalms 83 and 2. The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 2. Look here. Okay, it says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. You hear that? Thine enemies make a tumult, a noise, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. This is what happened, at the border. They that hate us have lifted up their head. They can't stand us out. They hate us. Kanye West, you need to get in the truth, brother. You need to bring that $2 billion over to the I.S.U.P.K, give it to Commanding General Yohanna, and get in this truth. All right? Put your brick in for your nation if you really love your people. You understand that? They hate us. They don't love you. They don't love us, and they never will. No matter how much you support Trump, Joe Biden, whoever else is coming next, no matter how much you support them, they are never going to give you love. They are never going to love you. That is how the Most High intended it to be. So we need to love our own. That's what our focus should be. All right, let's get Deuteronomy 30:7. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 7. Okay, it says, and the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So what I'm trying to bring out here is that after all these things that's happened to us, after all the oppression and all the devilishness that they have done to us, all that tail kissing we have done to these Edomites, all this love we have given to this kingdom, the Most High God is going to destroy these devils. He's going to destroy them. All right. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon our enemies. All the curses that you went through, the fact that they are above you in your neighborhoods, the fact that we are drug addicts and, out of our minds, the fact that we got to go to the White House and damn near sit on Donald Trump's lap to get, to plead for help. You know what I mean? These are curses, okay? And these curses are going to be put on your enemies, okay? And the Lord is saying that. And on them that hate thee, which persecuted you. They constantly persecute us. They've been doing it for thousands and thousands of years. Namely, here in America for over 400 years, they have persecuted us, and they continue to. Look at all the murders they have committed against our people. They continue to persecute us. All right, let's get two more. Let's get Deuteronomy 7:15, I believe that is. Okay, it says, and the Lord will take away from thee all sickness, and will put none of the evil diseases of Egypt, which thou knowest, upon thee, but will lay them upon all them that hate thee. See, serving the Lord thy God is how we conquer these people. We don't have to lift a finger. We don't have to, do Black Panther Party, do this, and that. All we got to do is keep the law, statutes, and commands, and the Lord will have our back, and he will take care of our enemies. That's what this is saying. And the Lord will take away from thee all sickness. You have to worry about, you won't be number one in diabetes. You won't be number one in cancer, AIDS. You won't be number one in cancer and AIDS, obesity. You know what I mean? You won't be number one in these things. He's going to take away all these diseases. All right? And he will lay them upon all them that hate thee. So it's going to be their turn. And I know you as a Black Hispanic man and woman, I know you want to see that happen. Even if you go to your slavery and you think there's a cool Edomite there that's, that likes you and y'all have conversations, y'all go to happy hour together, which you shouldn't be doing. But if you do that, you know what I mean? Keep it real. You want to see them go through, you want to see them get what's coming to them. Keep it real. Let's keep it real. Because I know I sure do. Let's get one more. Let's get Isaiah 60:15. Isaiah 60:15. Okay, it says, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an external excellency, a joy of many generations. Okay, so there's going to come, I'll read that one more time. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, this is Isaiah 60:15. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. You hear that, black man? That's what waits for you. By keeping the law, statutes, and commands, the Most High is going to elevate us above these people. Once again, we will be above all people, and we will be an excellency, a joy of many generations, okay? So all this negativity, all this oppressive nature, all these curses are going to go away. But we have to give the Lord our undivided attention. We have to serve him and love each other. And with that, I'm going to end the class. And again, Pre-Service of Gawan, this is the Pittsburgh class. It is the I.S.U.P.K and the Commanding General YAHANNA. Start out with 1 West, 125th Street. Get online, support this truth, ISUPK.com. Send in your donations. We have the street camps again, Fridays from 1 p.m. to about 5 p.m. And we have class here at the downtown library, Smithfield Street, from about 5 to 6:30 p.m. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.